So you're going to Olympic and you're wanting to see the best sights. I think you need to get out on the hiking trail. Hiking is one of the best ways to explore this national park. So today I want to share my 5 favorite easy hikes in Olympic. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of dirtinmyshoes, and I love to hike. I just really think that everybody needs to spend some time on the trails when you're in the national parks. So today I want to talk about my favorite easy hikes in Olympic. I know you might not want to be out on the trail for hours. You might not want to spend the whole day traipsing through the mountains. That sounds great to me, but I know that I'm weird, so... Today, I want to just share some of the trails that you can do, even if you're not much of a hiker, if you have little kids with you, if you just want to spend an hour or two on a trail. Here are my favorite trails that you'll want to look at. Trail number 1 is Sol Duc Falls, and Olympic has some incredible waterfalls, and I love waterfalls. But Sol Duc Falls actually is one of my very favorite waterfall hikes that you can do in any national park across the country. And what's nice is you can do it with your family. It's an easy hike. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it is so beautiful and so rewarding. The trail to Sol Duc Falls is 1.6 miles round trip. It gains about 200 feet of elevation as you go to the falls and back, and that makes it fairly easy. We do this one with our kids a lot. They love it. I love it. While you're hiking, it feels like you're going through a fairy forest, or fey forest if your reading tastes are a little more mature. But it is so beautiful. You have the light filtering through the trees. There's lots of big, beautiful trees. You have water, it's just, it's so idyllic and gorgeous. And then you get to the end of the trail and you get to see Sol Duc Falls plunging down into the canyon below it. Sometimes there's 3 waterfalls, sometimes there's 4, just depending on the flow. And it is absolutely gorgeous. You cross a big bridge, you get a beautiful view, and it doesn't take much effort to get there. If you want to hike to Sol Duc Falls, then you will find that trail at the end of this road right down here. So Olympic is a little bit weird because it doesn't have roads that go through the middle of it. All the roads kind of go around the outside and then go in to the park, and they don't connect with each other. So this is on one of those side roads right up here by Lake Crescent. You'll just go down to the very end of the road and pick up the trail to Sol Duc Falls from here. Trail number 2 is the Hall of Mosses Trail. This takes you into the beautiful Hoh rainforest. This area of the park gets so much rain. That's why it's a rainforest. 12 to 14 feet a year. And so when you get back in here, you will just be amazed at all the big, beautiful trees that are draped in mosses, and it is absolutely gorgeous. The Hall of Mosses Trail is only 0.8 miles round trip. It's a little loop that you can do through the trees. It only gains about 50 feet of elevation, so it is mostly flat and good for everybody. This is the most popular trail in the Hoh Rainforest section of the park. And the Hoh Rainforest section of the park gets so busy and so backed up, they actually have signs that tell you how long your wait is to get into this area. So if you time it wrong, you will be miserable. You will be waiting for, sometimes I've seen the line backed up about an hour and a half just to get into this part of the park. So don't get stuck in the crowds. Get a dirtinmyshoes Olympic itinerary, and I will help you avoid those problems when you're coming in to hike the Hall of Mosses. You'll find the dirtinmyshoes itinerary for Olympic at dirtinmyshoes.com, and I will give you an hour-by-hour schedule that will help you avoid those crowds and get to all of my favorite can't miss easy trails in Olympic. Even though the Hall of Mosses Trail is really busy most of the time, it is still absolutely worth it. There's a couple more trails you can do in this area, but as you're hiking through the trees, you will just be so glad you put in the effort to get here. And looking at the map of Olympic, so the Hoh Rainforest is all the way over here and in. It does take a while to get back in here, but then once you're back in here, then you can see this beautiful rainforest section of the national park. Easy trail number 3 is Marymere Falls. Another gorgeous waterfall in Olympic. Oh, I just love the waterfalls here. They are so beautiful. They're like ethereal. It really does feel like you've been transported to another world. So Marymere Falls is a great one. I love this one because it has elements of a lot of the other hikes that we like to do in Olympic, but they're all right here kind of condensed in this one trail. You'll hike through an old growth forest. You'll be next to a babbling brook. You get to go over really pretty log bridges. It's just a really nice trail. But what's nice is it's only about 1.8 miles round trip, and it doesn't gain very much elevation throughout the trail till you get to the very end if you want to get closer to the waterfall. Our favorite thing to do as we're hiking this trail is to look for the biggest trees we can find. And then my kids also like to sit next to the creek and throw rocks and just enjoy being in a really, really beautiful place. And then, as I mentioned, after you cross the log bridges, if you want to get closer to the waterfall, then you will need to go up some pretty steep, it's like a couple of switchbacks and a couple more log bridges to get back in there to see the waterfall really well. So that's where most of your elevation gain is going to be. It's about 300 feet of elevation. So keep that in mind, but it's absolutely worth it. And if you don't want to do the elevation at the end, you won't be disappointed. You'll make it to the creek, you'll get to see the log bridges, and you'll just be able to really enjoy this beautiful spot. Marymere Falls is up here by Lake Crescent. So you're actually going to park right here by the Lake Crescent Lodge, and then you will just take the trail to Marymere Falls over here. We love coming to Lake Crescent. It has an awesome jumping dock, and it's a lot of fun to swim in. So we like to hike to Marymere Falls and spend the day at Lake Crescent. That's like our perfect day in Olympic. Easy hike number 4 in Olympic National Park is the Cirque Rim Trail to Sunrise Point. This trail starts high in Olympic's mountains up in Hurricane Ridge. Hurricane Ridge is a very popular part of the park. You drive all the way up and just get surrounded by 360-degree mountain views. This is where you can see Mount Olympus. This is where you'll see a lot of wildflowers. It is just an absolutely gorgeous alpine environment. There are a few trails that you can do back in here, and you can kind of mix and match which trails you want to do, which trails you want to connect. My favorite trail up at Hurricane Ridge is the Hurricane Hill Trail, but I would not consider that one to be an easy one. If you can do something harder, then I would do that one over the Cirque Rim Trail that I'm talking about right now. But either way, you get gorgeous views. So, and if you have time to do both, because they do take you to different parts of the mountain. But if you're looking for an easy trail in this area, my favorite one is the Cirque Rim Trail, and it takes you from the parking lot at Hurricane Ridge and up through the meadows so you can see all the beautiful wildflowers, and then to the edge of the cliff there where you just have really beautiful expansive views. You can actually see into Canada from here, and so that's cool. And there's usually a lot of deer in this area. This is where you'll get a little bit of wildlife and just really soaking in those gorgeous mountain views. I want to show you on the map kind of what this looks like, because to do the Cirque Rim Trail out to Sunrise Point, you're looking at about 1.3 miles and about 200 feet of elevation gain. It's not too bad. So when you get back in here, and I feel like these maps are kind of confusing, but basically you're driving up the road here to get to Hurricane Ridge. This is the main Hurricane Ridge parking area. If you continue along the road, it gets really narrow. You have to have a small car to get back in here. This is where you would go to do the Hurricane Hill Trail. If you want to do that, you got to keep driving to these parking areas down here. But to do the Cirque Rim, which is the easier version to get you out into the mountains up here, you're going to stay right here in the main parking area. And this is the bigger view of this. So this is your main parking area. And then from here, your Cirque Rim Trail is going to be this one out here. So this is the big meadow loop if you just want to stay in the meadows, but you definitely, you got to go a little bit further to get kind of to the edge where you can see all those big mountain views. So this is what you're aiming for. You can kind of make a little loop here. That's the 1.3 miles that I'm talking about. If you want to go out a little further, it stays mostly flat back in here, so it's not too bad. If you're going from the Cirque Rim Trail out here to Sunrise Point, that's where you're going to gain your elevation right through here. My actual real preferred way of doing this is to start on the High Ridge Trail and go up out to Sunrise Point, down, across on the Cirque Rim Trail. Sometimes I will go out to here and then back down to my car from here. So it's kind of a choose your own adventure. Sunrise Point is gorgeous. This part of the trail is very steep, which is why I don't consider it to be an easy. It would be easier to go out this way from the Cirque Rim Trail. So again, if you don't mind a little bit of elevation, a little bit harder trail, try to get out to here. If you don't want to do that, stay in here. It stays nice and easy, and it's absolutely gorgeous. All right, favorite easy hike number 5 in Olympic National Park is the Hole in the Wall Trail. We are heading to the beach. We are hiking along the beach. It's not really a trail because you're just following the beach, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And basically what we're doing, so we're on the beach side of Olympic, and Olympic has gorgeous beaches and like really good tide pooling. And Hole in the Wall is one of my favorite places in the park to go tide pooling. So hopefully you'll see some creatures while you're out here. But basically, it's about 3 miles, mostly flat because you're just right at sea level. You're walking along the beach. You do need to do this at low tide so that you can make that walk without getting pushed up into all the driftwood and everything that's at high tide. So come do this at low tide. You'll go up to Hole in the Wall, which is just a really cool arch, sea arch right there in the ocean. And it's surrounded by a lot of tide pools. So we love doing this one. You got to time it right with the low tide, but it is so much fun for the entire family. Hole in the Wall is all the way out here. You actually start, so Olympic's kind of funky because you got your main part in here, right? This is where all the mountains are. This is the rainforest. This is Hurricane Ridge out here. Then Olympic has coastline out here that is also part of the national park, in and out. Some of it is, some of it isn't. So when you get up in here, you're actually going to drive to Rialto Beach, which is part of the national park. And then you're going to just hike up the beach about 1.5 miles to hit Hole in the Wall right here. As I mentioned, the timing is important on this one. You can start hiking it about an hour, hour and a half before low tide hits. That will give you enough time to get up there while it's still low tide, do some tide pooling, and get back before the tide gets too high. So this is somewhere you definitely don't want to get stranded. You will want to watch those tides and make sure the water levels aren't getting too high while you're out here. If you want more information on any of these hikes, go to the Dirt in My Shoes website. I will have this linked in the video description below, and you can get more information about each of these trails. I am here for you. You don't need to do your trip planning alone. I have been to Olympic National Park many times. It's a family favorite. We love the diversity and all the really cool things that you can see in this national park. So check out the rest of my channel if you need more help planning your trip. Go to dirtinmyshoes.com if you want an itinerary that I've written for you. And I hope to see you out on the trail.